Welcome to episode 51 of Pineapples and Thorns. I'm Kat, and with me tonight are Kato and
Hey!
we are so organized. Welcome, guys.
Hello.
Good evening.
How's everything? Finished digging out from your ice and snow?
Old man Winter, he just won't release us from his terrifying grip.
It's only February. Kat's not even expecting, to see the sun for another month or so, are you?
Not really. It's
Not really.
minus 35 here today.
Oh yeah, I forgot I live in the South.
The South.
Compared to you two mooks, I live in the South.
Everybody's south of me. Yeah, it's cold, and that's all I can say about it. But the end is in sight.
Are we talking about winter still or what?
Pretty much everything, apparently, to the end of my brain cells.
All right, it's Doomsday Cat Night. I love it. All right,
Peter,
sorry.
You're up.
CFF News. So the Town Hall 14 Royal Rumble happened this weekend, and congratulations to Jess, who beat out a variety of fields. Kat, you were in there with your, very new 14.
Yes, I was.
And how did that go?
I got thrashed soundly.
Soundly.
What about as well as a 13 could expect? Huh,
exactly. Yeah, I drew. I think I was like number 2.
Oh, early. Yeah,
I was pretty early on in there somewhere, and yeah, it was fun though to watch some of the attacks. Lots of great attackers and a lot of fun.
Yes. Darth Yoda reminded us that he won the inaugural Royal Rumble when Town Hall 14 was the max.
Mm-hmm.
So we're thinking he needs to defend his title as a Town Hall 15. So that one is March 12th. So if you have a Town Hall 15 and you think you have some time on the weekend, it's a lot of fun. Everybody kind of gets on and watches all the attacks, and it just FCs back and forth. Mm-hmm. It's fun. I'm happy. I will be happy to get back into them again. Coke Purse's Pepsi also happened this weekend. Kat, what team did you end up on? I heard there was a draft and then a mad scramble.
It was a very bizarre. I got drafted to Pepsi. First of all, there were some shenanigans there because they deliberately left both myself and Agent Paladin to the end of the Town Hall 15. So we were like, well, they haven't picked us. What's going on? And then so we both ended up on Pepsi. And then as soon as the draft was over, I got traded to Coke. Thank goodness.
I heard C-Note even got traded to Coke at some point before he got traded back. I mean, it was just madness.
Ace was behind the scenes. He traded Green Arrow, his co-captain, to Pepsi, and it was complete chaos.
Ruling with an iron fist.
Huh? But it was a lot of fun.
And you were there too, Fredo, weren't you? Because I remember seeing the lament about your, I think, Blizzard didn't go quite the way you hoped.
There was all sorts of things not going my way in that war. So it really is karma for being such an idiot about yelling about how bad Pepsi is. I mean, I should be more measured and just say Pepsi sucks in the matter of fact way it deserves, rather than being like a 12-year-old on Xbox.
That's right.
In the end, somehow Coke ended up beating Pepsi on percentage. Don't ask me how, because everybody's attacks were just a complete dumpster fire on the Coke side. And then Green Arrow on the Pepsi side did not use either of his attacks.
Oh my goodness.
So kudos to Team Pepsi. They probably should have won that war.
So it's more of a non-event war, huh?
It was a mess.
It was all the stuff leading up to it.
Yeah.
And right now we're in the middle, or Kat is in the middle of wrestling, herding, whatever the right term is, everyone into the Trojan War clan.
Mm-hmm.
That should spin in another 10 minutes or so. And hopefully get I'm secretly hoping for a longer match, because that'll let me get my attacks in the window that everyone else has. In case you don't know what a Trojan War is, this one is we're going to all try to get both of our attacks in the last 15 minutes. I'll leave the other random clan wondering what the heck is going on with us. So hopefully we can pull out the win in the last 15 minutes.
So they were trying to sell it to me like it was like the person with the best attack wins a pack of condoms.
Yes, I think you got sold a bill of goods, Fado.
Yeah, I think I did.
Yeah.
I better skip the spin.
Gosh. Don't tell Kat.
I didn't sign up for it.
Oh, okay.
I can. Hey, if you need a sub, let me know. Just pull me in. You got
Too late.
7 minutes.
I think everybody's in clan now, aren't they?
We'll get to that
As the last check.
farther
Okay.
down in the agenda.
Okay.
Well, no, the spin will happen, and then we can take a look at how that impacts our agenda.
Yeah.
Fine. SOG is running a 5v5 like the Friday night fights that C2J used to run. This one will be a little different format. They won't quite cram them into those entire 45 minutes with, everyone watching each other's attack. I believe it's just a 30-minute war. Get your attacks in that window. I know RT's already put a team in. I've put my name forward to captain another team, so if the more people want to join, that one will start not this Friday, not next Friday, the Friday after that. So it'll just be Friday nights, a couple hours. It'll be all it will take.
Yep.
And show off your Town Hall 15 skills.
Or lack thereof.
Or lack thereof. Hey, 2 stars win more. And I really believe that now at Town Hall 15. I've been watching some of the World Qualifier stuff, and boy, the scores are much, 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 much lower than they were. No more of these 15-15 ties. 11 is a respectable score.
Yeah, I've been told that the hit rate for the pros is hovering around 30%, which is so much lower than it was at 14 for sure.
For sure.
Well, they asked for it, right? And now I wonder, do they still want it?
Do they regret it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to know.
Yeah.
Tonight on a very special Pineapples. Fado thinks of what the pros are thinking. Peter?
And on we go. The Rated is nearing Win 400, so we'll do some special event there. We'll probably cram everybody we can into the Rated and spin a 50. And then Red Thorn is closing in on Win 600. So again, we'll try to get the family in, and anybody who is a friend of RT can drag their account over. I don't think we might even need to restrict that to 15s. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that. I think that's all I have today.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So today what we're going to do is we're just going to sit around here a little bit and contemplate how the game's changed, and perhaps even how we as players have changed as well, especially since we've gone through the various COVID lockdowns and restarts, how that's impacted us and the game. So during the lockdowns, a lot of people turned to video and mobile games to take their minds off things. A lot of us made multiple new accounts, Peter, or started playing new games.
Yes.
In that time frame, Supercell's also given us a lot of game and quality of life improvements, plus a whole new town hall level. And, now that the restrictions are over for the most part, how has all of this affected us? Do you find yourself more or less engaged with the game when the lockdowns came into effect, Fado?
So it was really all of the lockdowns and whatnot that brought me back to the game, because, at that point I'd probably been sitting out, probably about 9 months. And then I had, just had enough. I didn't have enough to do. There was nothing to do. And I just picked up the phone and opened that darn yelling barbarian icon one more time. And that was that. And I had never left Discord at all. I was still somewhat active there, but really not much in the game. So, through Discord, I opened the game and blah, 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 old friendships being old friendships. And yeah, that brought me back in. And it's interesting as the world has opened back up. It's there's a lot more content in the game in 2020, late 2021, early 20, than there was in 2019, for at least from my standpoint. So it wasn't lockdowns are over. Okay, see ya. Real world's back, guys. It wasn't like that at all. My what I get out of the game is a lot different than before. Right? I used to put a lot more pressure on myself. Now I just kind of enjoy the suckage. So, Kat?
Me, I'm not sure if I started playing more. I mean, it's been fairly consistent for me. I've always been really engaged in the game and the behind the scenes stuff, like organizing events and trying to be in 50 different places at once. I did make some changes in terms of pulling back out of leadership in a clan. I was actively engaged as a co-leader in Kent Greenhouse. And during the pandemic, I just found that I needed to pull back a little bit for my own mental sanity because it was just getting to be too much on my plate. So I did step down there and promptly took up a co-leadership role over at Phoenix Reloaded. So
trade one
yeah,
for another.
It's just been a steady thing, I enjoy the game. I enjoy the people. Yeah, I did make a Town Hall 2 during Hammer Jam, thanks to Peter. So much peer pressure to make a Town Hall 2. It's now heading towards Town Hall 7. So,
and I'd like to apologize to all those other people who made Town Hall 2s. It was one opportunity, right? It just happened to drop the day before or the week before Town Hall 15 dropped. So I lost interest completely. I was looking for things to do at the time because, you know, we were all maxed, and hence I had lots of little accounts I could farm. Boy, I trying to farm them.
And Town Hall 2 is fun, but
only if you match other Town Hall 2s. It's tough when you match Town Hall 6, right? We had that a couple times in the CWL that you spun.
Yeah, those core Town Halls are really hard to get at when you're a Town Hall 2 with no wall breakers.
No wall breakers. And yes.
And no siege machine.
You get this when Cat's spinning, right? So
this is true.
Where you get like the people are 4 whole Town Hall levels in front of you. Thanks, Cat.
Champs One clan. Yeah, that won the
Do
world
not
last
let me
year.
spin wars, please.
Thanks, Cat.
So also during the pandemic, a lot of quality of life changes came into effect. Do you find that you like those changes? You know, which ones do you like? Which ones don't you like? Peter?
I absolutely love the extra hero life. Although I think it's contributing somewhat to my mania in the game. Right, I can make 2 attacks. I'm playing in Legends. I like that kind of more regimented style of play. So I can make 2 attacks on Peter, 2 attacks on Zarch, and then I am done. Right, I can't. Whereas before those came along, I think I would attack with one and attack with the other, and spend a little bit of time in game because sometimes you can heal it up quick. But now I feel like I almost get my fill just by having those 2 full attacks back to back. And by the time you make that second one, or second accounts, that's, 12 minutes of real game time, probably closer to 20 minutes of real lifetime. So
do you think that that's what a lot of people are doing is you have your window where you have your 2 hero lives, for example. So do you think people are just getting into game, doing those hits, and then, okay, I'm done, I'm out of here? And so they're not staying in game to engage in FCs or chit chat or whatever?
My feeling is yes, that is exactly what's happening. I know that's what's happening for me. And I've made a conscious decision not to farm those Town Hall 10s any longer. They're max and just living in shiny gemeralds until next SCWL just to fill accounts. So I feel like I'm around more.
What about you, Fado? What do you think?
Well, first off, I haven't heard the phrase quality of life changes and pandemic used together very much. So
Only here.
The twisted sense of humor you got. But, the extra hero life is huge. I'm going to focus on the quality of life improvement they haven't given us. And that is when you're scouting bases in a war. Sure, it's great. You can see who has attacked it and what percent and stars and all that. But show me who's called it. Show me the notes as well. Like, is it uncalled? Is it called? Like, it kind of stinks to have to go bounce back and forth between the map and
notes would be wicked, right? You could say Tesla Farm in the 3 o'clock. Yeah, I like that.
So, there's a lot of other ways they can, simple things I think that they can do to make it even better. So, I haven't disliked any quality of life changes they've come out with because I appreciate what they're doing. And, without being able to think of all of them off the top of my head, I can't think of one there I was like, oh, that's a waste. So thanks for keeping them coming.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite cat?
Probably the medals from Clan Capital, simply because, I can use them for buying potions or extra loot if I need it. Yeah, or just like donating to myself.
Which do you usually use them for? Like right now on my 15s, I'm using them almost exclusively to refill my CC for that second attack. But on my 14, the one that I just took to 14, I'm using it for resources, right? I have a free builder. Oh, it'd be really great to be able to use this hero book. I buy that 25,000 dark and carry on, right?
Yeah. So that's basically the one that I like the best. I'm sure there's so many that came into effect that we're not touching on even because it's just something we kind of take for granted. And now another thing that I wanted to talk about was the incentives to move up. Do we think that people are just kind of rushing forward to get that next town hall level and not spending as much time as they used to at the lower town halls. Like, for example, a lot of people used to take,
Town Hall 9.
Town Hall 9, for example, people used to take forever to go there.
Yeah, because you were farming your queen, right? So you were learning what the queen could do at a level 20, at a level 25, at a level 30, right? You really got to know kind of the limit of a queen walk with a weaker queen. Whereas now it feels like, your heroes are always down. You're not really getting that experience.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I will say that, the meta isn't changing appreciably much between even 13, 14, 15, right? Lalo is Lalo. Blizzard worked great even at Town Hall 12. Skelly Donut is proving to be pretty darn good in the right hands at 15. It was really darn good at 14, etc. Maybe I think one of the things to keep an eye on is, even as we as players advance, a lot of us, like me, like I'm not changing that. I'm not adapting much, and that's probably not good, right? I am not allowing myself to, hear the P.E.K.K.A.s say butterfly in my own camps as often. I mean, when I first started hearing that, this was a couple months ago, I heard it for the very first time. I was like, I have not used P.E.K.K.A.s if I didn't even if I didn't even understand that was going on or realize it. So I guess, to the question, do you think the incentives to move up, that people are not spending enough time at each level to learn the little tricks? I don't know if that's so much true, but there's like this complacency that sets in for me as this average player, whatever the heck anyone wants to label me. That's fine. Average, I'll take all day. But I just am what I am, and I have all these preconceived notions on things that are entirely unfair. Oh, drags, that's just flybrid or whatever it is. That's just spammy. Well, it's viable though.
Yep.
Right? Like, you're cheating. I'm cheating myself out of having like, I have never once. This will drop some jaws. I've never once unlocked the Super Bowlers. Never once.
Really?
Why? I don't know why. I just never have. So I'm probably cheating myself rather than feeling cheated by the game, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I found myself kind of, I was bored with like Blizz Hybrid, bored with like the E-Titans attacks. And so I cracked out an E-Dragon army. I thought, I'm going to.
Then what happened?
I tripled.
You
What
what?
happened,
I
Kat?
tripled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, Kat's posting replays, and the text in them is crazy, because it's not like Kat at all, just to say "suck it, noobs" in her replays. But there she is.
There she is.
I really shocked myself. I was like, I have no idea how this worked, but it did. Not that I'm going to be using it in war, but
Well, Kat, I say this with complete straight face and sincerity, that there are pros out there using that attack and using it great.
Oh yeah, and it's a viable troop. It's just I've never put the time into figuring out, how they path and the how to use the spells with them. So I'm just having a little bit of fun with them right now. I'm in Legends. I'm not trying to push to 6,000. I just want to stay in Legends and have a little bit of fun. Try and get as many attacks in a day as I can.
How many? When you say that, how many accounts do you have in
2.
Legends? Yep, that's an investment. Yeah. That's an hour.
Yeah.
You get 16 attacks. It's 3 minutes per attack plus 30 seconds of scouting. That's 56 minutes right off the top.
Yeah. Plus war attacks, if you're in war. So
I don't scout for those.
just like Leroy Jenkins. Yeah.
Attaboy, Fado.
Anyway, and when you rage quit, you save yourself some time.
This is very true.
It is.
That's very true. I would like to add counterpoint to what you're saying. I built those Town Hall 9s or now Town Hall 10s to learn Lalo. I was feeling like I was being left behind on the Lalo bus. I had no Storm Riders using it quite effectively. I mean, yes, he has his ups and downs. I see Agent Paladin come in to the clan, wipe stuff out. He's also having a rocky time right now. I think he posted in Red Thorn. Was it just today? He gets 1 triple, and then he gets a 1-star 88 and a 2-star whatever. So Lalo is one of those funny things. I really hated Town Hall 10 the first time through. I do understand Siege Machine has changed it from the first time you and I and all of us went through it the first time. But I really, really like Town Hall 10 Lalo right now. It's just Kill Squad Lalo. It's not even anything special.
Interesting.
It's just fun. I'm going to take one of those to 11 once I finish farming my 15s, I think. No, I'm not going to do that. Need to focus on my 15s. I got to quit doing this.
You almost make me want to have a Town Hall 10. Almost.
Still time, Kat.
You have a Town Hall 9. It wouldn't take long.
I know, but then I'd need another Town Hall 9s, which means I have to farm my Town Hall 5 up.
You'd have to rush through, but at least you know how to play Town Hall 9.
This is true.
I feel sorry for some of the people that are in right now that are trying to catch up, and they're just racing through.
I will say anyone who missed the heyday of Town Hall 9 missed just awesome Clash.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so well balanced. There wasn't as much competitive garbage going on either. But what I'll say, it's not to call it garbage, but you were more shielded from it unless you were all over Twitter or not even Discord, right? That it also was toxic as hell back then. Because it was so easy to mod. I say that as someone who has never modded, but there was so much modding going on. But and you stayed there forever. It felt like such an accomplishment to max your 9 because even the walls were a total grind. You just wanted to stay there a bit because you look at Infernos and no one was tripling at 10 before you could heal through Infernos. It was so rare.
Right.
That you just wanted to stay at 9 forever. And you had to get your queen done. But I mean, I just look back very fondly on the Town Hall 9 days, say circa 2015, 16.
It really is one of the best looking, most cohesive Town Hall levels.
Yeah, you learned to, you remember those days when you were like, oh shoot, this guy's got max expos. And now it's kind of like, all right, well, yeah, but what about the scatter, the eagle, the poison tower, the invisible tower, the the town hall that goes boom? These little things.
Everything wants to kill you, kind of like being in Australia.
I had no idea we had such visceral hatred for the fine folks of Australia. We've even got Aussies in clan that might take umbrage with that comment.
Or might agree.
They would definitely
wholeheartedly.
Agree. Peter, you talk about all the accounts you have. How many accounts is too many accounts?
If I'm farming 2 to the max Town Hall level, like I have been for the last 6 months, 2 is enough. That's my full kind of time commitment. Planning, making war attacks with not max things, trying to figure stuff out. I think I overstressed myself trying to farm the 10s, even though I was doing kind of the same attack over and over at 10, just to kind of get the feel for that. It was a little bit too much. So if I'm farming 2, I can probably strictly war on 3 accounts, I think, especially if the war days don't coincide.
But actively playing, you're finding 2 is a comfortable,
2's a really good number, yeah.
Fado, how many accounts have you got now?
I've got 4 in my Supercell ID. I might have a couple others somewhere that are lost with the phones or whatever device they were on. So the 15 is just a couple bombs away from twiddling its thumbs. The 14 is just a handful of traps from twiddling its thumbs. I 100% agree with you, Peter. 2 is plenty when it comes to farming. But I'm glad I've got the other 2 for capital raid weekends because I can just come in and, if the raided usually doesn't have 50 and it's further behind. So, when Clan Capital came out, we were all max 14s. We had nothing to do with our builders, so we were just farming the heck out of our gold. But that wasn't true in the raided, which is much more slanted towards either minis or just smaller accounts in general. So everyone's builders are always busy. Therefore, Clan Capital's behind. Therefore, the extra guys I've got, my extra accounts, are usually in there at some point in the weekend, sneaky archering away. So yeah, I would say, I could not farm a 3rd right now. I simply could not. And in some respects, like I'm looking at my lower accounts. One is a max 9. The other one is a 12 with Town Hall 9 defenses. This is another one I rushed so that I could donate sieges.
Sure.
I don't know. I'm never fixing that one. It's going to just sit there. The 9, I should be more active on that. I'm not going anywhere with it.
But it's a reminder of those heydays, right? It's a reminder of those good times.
You know what's really interesting, and I am going to take a bit of a detour here for a moment, is you're absolutely right, but I would probably be really disappointed to play it because the game mechanics themselves have changed so much in the intervening, 6 or 7 years. The troops I can even be donated as a 9 are more powerful than what we could have been donated back then.
True.
I could get headhunters now if I wanted to. Imagine that. So I would miss it. And I should figure out, like, if you guys have a 9 clan, maybe next time I apply, you'll accept me this time. Because I know the last few times you've just kind of given me the Heisman, the old stiff arm. Yeah, two's plenty. What was the question?
Yeah, you
the
answered it
the
5
fun
minutes
thing
ago.
is like, you know,
Imagine working with me.
there was a period of time at the rated where it was just all Town Hall 9s in there, and we were spinning all Town Hall 9 wars, and we were matching all 9s. So there are a lot of Town Hall 9 players out there that they have those fond memories of Town Hall 9, and they still want a war as 9s, and they're pretty dedicated. Like, I know that there's specific Town Hall 9 servers, Discord servers out there, and a whole community of people that just, they love Town Hall 9, and that's what they want to play at.
Well, here's a survey for our listeners. If you have a Town Hall 9, would you be interested in putting it in a clan and warring them regularly? Because, I mean, you have one, right, Kat? Fado's saying he has one that he maybe could look at playing occasionally.
There's a lot of people I know that have
there's a bunch in the rated,
for sure. And for me, it's like, I mean, I've got my baby account, which I'm not sure whether I'm going to stop at Town Hall 7 or 8 or take it to 9 yet. I'm not sure. And I've got my max 9. I've got a max 12 and a baby 14 and 2 max 15s. And the 12, I have parked it. I was going to take it to 13, and I've decided to leave it for now. I just can't farm up another account right now. The 14 and the baby account are pretty much all I can handle right now.
How long have you been maxed on the 15s?
Probably about a week.
Oh, yeah. Congratulations. That's great.
Yeah, it was kind of a weird feeling. Oh, I can start doing the forges again, as Fado was talking about. So yeah, I think overall, I'm finding myself kind of cutting back like you have, Peter. Is just, I don't want to play every single account in 10 different clans, because 15 is a lot of work, even in war. Like, you can't
mess
you can't really just YOLO. You need to actually look at the base and figure out how you're going to hit it, because there's nothing worse than going in and getting a 1-star or a 0-star. And I speak from experience.
Well, there's nothing worse than putting in the legwork and still getting that freaking 1-star.
What happened? I had a plan. It didn't work. What a shot.
I saw the sketch.
But they can trap stuff, right? They can, the blimp was very hot for a while, and they knew just where to put that tornado
and
trap.
those poison towers are just
and the
deadly.
Poison towers are tough.
Super Archer is much more viable still than Blizzard. So
yeah, you almost have to pack a heal spell these days for any of those risky blizzards.
Sure. Let's talk a little bit about CFF events, because we're just about to leap into the Trojan War. Should hopefully have spun, maybe even matched by now. And the CFF has always prided itself on running fun events. It used to be a really big deal for a CFF event, whether it was a Trojan War or we used to do like a lot of fun, holiday themed events. Just, it was a way for the entire family to get together. Like, from the 6 or 7 clans that we had, you would get a huge uptake of people wanting to be in these events.
Right.
And lately we found that it's been a struggle to get people to sign up for these. And so I was just wondering, with all the things that Supercell has given us, the Clan Capital, the Raid Weekends, Legend League, Clan Games, SCCWL, and yes, Builder Base, do people simply have too much to do to be bothered with events? What do you guys think?
Can I start with that one, Fado?
Absolutely.
I think there absolutely is too much. Because if you just look at the monthly schedule, even, right? We start the month with SCWL, that's a whole week. Yep. There's often a raid weekend in there somewhere where people are moving back and forth. I know it's not a big deal as a member, but as leadership, I'm always trying to say, I need to look and make sure people get invited back, right? I'm spending more time kind of, what's the word?
Managing.
Yeah, sure. Managing where everyone is, because I'm not in the game as much as I can be. I want to send invites so, they can just get back in and get to making their war hits. So then that first week ends. We maybe have 2 raid weekends already by that time. And we often see some minis in and out of Red Thorn, like Fada was saying, right? If we don't have quite the full clan, some people will bring their mini guys in there because the medals are valuable, super valuable. Then we get what do we get next? Probably this is the next week right after SCWL is the week that is the most free. But it's often the week that, I know for me, I feel like that letdown, right? Ooh, I don't have to look at every war. I don't have to rearrange the schedule. You know what I mean, right? Yeah, but then you're right back into the next raid weekend. So we could have had 3 raid weekends by that time already. And then what comes up? And then it's Clan Games, right? Clan Games is the week before SCWL, and we're right back into the cycle. So it never really feels like, again, as leadership, that we want to just say, okay, we're going to plan during the week of SCWL to have this event the week after, which would probably be the best timing, except everyone seems to be uninterested. I think that's the easiest word. And I really do think it is because there's so much going on and it never ends. It's just the cycle after cycle. And it's good. You can get into a routine, but it's hard to break into the routine to create something new. Like, I think you talked about at one time the blind date thing. Go out in the world and try to find an account member to bring back in and we'll war together. I love that idea. But we just, I think it was last Valentine's Day you talked about it. And we've already passed this Valentine's Day. It's been a year. We just haven't had time. Or, we haven't made time.
It's a lot of work.
How do you feel about it, Fado?
I don't have much to add to that, Peter. I'm more of a shadow leader than a co-leader. So there is a lot going on. There really is. And I think, we are what we are at Red Thorn. We don't pretend to be something. If people want something else, they're free to go somewhere else with no hard feelings whatsoever. Right. And I think we've all kind of sat into, we're just going to show up, do war hits and whatever. Okay. That's it. And that's, it's almost been building to that in a way. It's like a clan-wide, back to the word complacency. We're all just kind of, it's not like we're going through the motions, but we're just kind of, this is what we do. And then, leadership will tell us, whether it's CFF leadership or otherwise, hey, there's an event war going on. Let's get some signups. Come on. This is something that, the family's done for X years, or, this is, something we've done quite often. So I don't know. It's just like this NUI that everyone's kind of in.
Could I ask a little different question then, Fado? As a let's say non-leader person, do you log into the game every day? Could you miss a couple of days of logging in? I know you have kids in hockey, right? You get in tournaments, you're away. Maybe the Wi-Fi isn't great. Maybe you have poor cell service out in the boonies wherever you're playing. But do you feel like you have to be in the game every day? Like there's so much to do to catch up on?
I don't feel like I have to.
Okay.
But it's almost like by default. Like I could tell you with my phone being across the room right now, like which screen and what position on that screen the Clash of Clans icon is on. Right? You know how that goes, right? You open up your phone and for me it's like, okay, go to Reddit, go to Twitter, go to Clash, Discord, and then go to Chrome for a couple of tabs I've always got open. It's like more of like just my usual routine, period. So it's weird to think like, man, if Helsinki ever just decide, it's going to pull these servers down, like, Johnny from Airplane pulling the plug for Yucks. Man, can you imagine? Like, I'd be like, wait a minute. It would be like a huge part of me is ripped, or a huge diversion is ripped away, just gone. And that's when it would hit. Because you just it's almost a place where I'm taking it for granted that it's there. I don't feel like I have to log in every day. I just do, almost out of habit, right?
Okay. Fair enough. How about you, Kat? What is your morning routine like? Like Fado listed off Reddit and Twitter and whatever else he looked at before he looked at Clash. What's your order of looking at things?
Let's see. Marbles? No.
So Twitch and then Twitch. Twitch again.
No, I usually check Discord to see how many notifications I have.
Oh gosh.
What fires need to be put out, and hopefully there's nothing. And then checking. No particular order, checking Twitter, Clash Royale, Pokemon Go, and Marbles. And also, once I have some coffee, then I open up Clash and tackle that. But it's, if Fado, you're right. If I didn't have Clash to go into, I could give up any of those other things, any and all of those other things. But
I dare you to give up Discord for one
except
day.
Discord. I could not go without being on Discord. But yeah, Clash. If it came to between Discord and Clash, I'd probably have to choose Clash.
Yeah. I mean,
it would be tough.
Clash is what brought us together, but Discord is what really is holding us together. I still firmly believe that, right?
It's hand in hand. So
yeah.
So I wanted to talk a little bit more about events because something that's near and dear to my heart. What are some challenges that we face as organizers? Because we've all organized something, whether it's a league match or a fun event or, SCCWL. What are some challenges that you face as a person who's organizing an event?
Right off the bat, I'm going to say people wanting to participate, right? If we want to do a 50v50 friendly war, that's 100 people. The CFF should be able to draw that in, but it seems like we can't. I'm sorry, I forgot to look. I think the Trojan only got up to 40 people, didn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah, and we opened it to every town hall,
No, it
didn't
was
we?
Town Hall 15 only.
Or no, was it strictly
Yeah.
15? Strictly 15, excuse me. I'm not sure that doesn't seem like a great turnout to me. So for me, participation, it's the fear of not having, I'm going to go out all the work, but not as many people as could enjoy it, choose to.
Yeah, and part of me wonders is it because people are not looking at the event information in Discord, because that is a struggle that I find people not looking at the Discord channels. Like maybe they find Discord tags annoying, and so they mute 90% of the channels. So then they miss things. I had a member reach out to me today and go, "Oh, CFF runs events," and
Oh gosh.
wanted
Oh,
details on
no.
the thing, and he was like saying, "Oh, gee, I'm sorry I missed this one. Maybe next time," type of thing. And I said, "Well, just keep an
Wow.
eye on the CFF announcements channel, because that's where that information will be."
It pops up automatically.
And people get tagged. So, that for me, that's one thing. And then obviously another challenge obviously is, once you get those people, getting them into the clan in a timely manner.
Yes.
I spent 4 hours of my time today chasing people, checking the list of people who'd signed up, trying to find them in Discord, tagging them, saying, "Hey, you need to get in clan." As an organizer, we are investing a huge amount of our time, our personal time,
Yeah.
to put these events together, make sure that it's going to be organized, so that all people have to do is show up.
Right. And Kat, I'm going to thank you for everyone in the CFF. I know you chase an awful lot. I was thinking back to the draft where you chase and chase and chase. Thank you so much for all you
You're
do.
welcome.
It's hard, I know.
I'm quite exhausted by the end of an event. So,
which I think then lends itself into the next thing, right? As leaders, we're already doing a lot of, I don't know, just bookkeeping type things to organize a whole new thing. I think that's a bit encumbering too. Because obviously it's not just everyone who is organizing events, right? It's a certain personality, someone who wants to give back to the community or what have you, right? You just think it would be fun and you want to hang out in a different way. And those people are the ones that I think are, I don't want to say abused, but they're being somewhat taken advantage of, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Vito.
Think about it like what I said about the game just being there and taking it for granted. It's almost like people could be, well, there'll be events. Yeah, cool. Well, someone put an event together. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think
Neat.
yeah,
Events.
well, and I think that's another thing, is that Red Thorn and the other clans in the CFF, we are part of a fantastic clan family that is very strong and very, people work hard to set up engagement for its members, and a lot of people are very blasé about the whole thing. They're just in their little silos in their clans and not taking advantage of that and expanding, I guess, the fun quotient of the game. Because okay, if you're saying you're bored, well, yeah, it would be boring just logging in the game, doing your 8 legend hits during the day. Maybe you're not even doing any friendly challenges. You're not involved in leadership. To me, the game would get a little bit boring after a while doing that. But if you push yourself, take advantage of some of these fun things, and I'm probably like leaping ahead on the agenda.
That's fine.
But it's something, as a person who organizes events, obviously I'm passionate about them, and I care, and I want to make the game fun. It's part of what my mandate was for Red Thorn, is to keep the game fun for the players who come to Red Thorn. And with the CFF, our events are not just open to CFF members, but also to all the friends and listeners. Like we always say, if you want to check out our events, join the CFF Discord, and most of the events, 99% of them, are open to anybody.
Yeah.
So I guess, basically I'm just saying, like, if people are bored, maybe they need to sort of take a look at how they're playing the game and look for ways that maybe they can get more involved in things.
That's entirely fair, because you're not going to magically parachute into some other clan, whether you know the people there or not, and the game is suddenly going to be fun. Your attacks aren't suddenly going to be more interesting, better executed, whatever you want.
One of the best events that I think we ran was the Total Recall event, where we said to people, you must use the recall spell. And everybody grumbled about it, but I think everybody had a lot of fun. And I know one of our friends from C2J, Wizard of Woo, he was crushing Town Hall 15 with it, because after that event, he kept using the recall spell. And he was tripling at Town Hall 15, left, right, and center.
Damn.
Yeah. So, sometimes out of these events, you might learn something, you might try something new, whether it's, well, you must use Lalo or you must use a certain troop. Perhaps it's something that you've never used before. And you come out of it going, wow, that was actually fun. It forced me out of my comfort zone. And, then maybe you go back to your, regular clan as a Town Hall 15 and you show it to somebody else. And
Do you think the game though has created like with all those things to do that it's created a lack of focus on Discord? You were saying about that fellow that didn't even know CFF ran events. Do you think it's because they're involved in being in the game and that's their time of, let's call it their leisure time, and so they're going into the game and they can do capital hits and they can do a builder base raid if they have gold pass, and maybe they look at those gold pass things and they decide, oh, I need to hit a couple more bases because I need army camps or whatever. Do you think Discord's sliding to the side because they're not involved in, I don't know, the get moving room or what have you?
I think Discord is a slippery slope. Once you start getting involved in doing things in Discord, it's kind of, you find yourself, I spent 2 hours in Discord, organizing something instead of being in game, playing the game, when the game is what I want to be playing. So people might say, well, I don't want to be, and I don't have to be, because maybe they're not in leadership. So they tune out Discord and they're in game playing, which is great because, that's where we'd all like to be, doing friendly challenges and stuff. And I think if more people were involved in helping to do things in Discord in a clan, then that makes light work for everybody. And then more people could spend more time in game. So it's, I think there's a balance to be found.
Yeah, that's a tricky one.
A couple years ago, maybe a little more, I can't
When
remember.
you were a young lad.
But people were driven to use Discord because that's how we used to call bases.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah, back in the
Excellent
good old days
point.
of
Yes.
War Match. Yeah, everybody had to log into Discord at least to call a base.
Well, there's a quality of life improvement that I hate then. Thank you.
And you get used to just, okay, now we call on the map and we take it for granted, and people seem to have adapted quite well. But yeah, for quite a few years, and remember the old days of, what was it, Clash Caller?
Oh yeah,
I remember that website. So, then there was like maybe 3 things you had to do. You had the game, you had Clash Caller, and you had Discord. So let's talk a little bit overall on Town Hall 15. So we talked a bit about the current hit rate at the pro levels, roughly around 30%. And for the average player, it would be much lower. I'm probably sitting at about a -2.
Excuse me, Miss E-Dragon Triple.
I'm at 0 then. So we heard over and over again from our circles that there's frustration with the game, that the level of fun is not there like it used to be. And this in spite of there being so much more for people to do in game. And we've even had, a few people just recently say that they're bored with the game, and some of them are taking breaks. Some of them have outright retired. What can Supercell do now to retain the average Town Hall 15 players and still keep the game challenging enough for the pros? Beto?
It's going to be interesting to see where this goes over the next couple updates, because Darian, episode 50 of the Pineapples and Thorns, had Darian on it. I don't know if the listeners were aware, but there are going to be more super troops coming at some point. There will be nerfs, balances, buffs. We'll see. But if the pros are at 30%, I can imagine that's a pretty big drop from probably in the 70s where they were, right? 60s,
Very
70s. That's more than half in terms of percentage. So, math major. The average Town Hall 15 players, I don't know. We are what we are. I think I talked at length about this earlier. I'll just keep going in via habit. What I was doing 3 years ago that I'm not doing at all anymore is watching Twitch. I'm not watching pros hit. I'm not. I'm probably not exposed to anything. I'm probably not exposed to anything that's really innovative, new things I feel confident I could either take on or give it a shot. So you end up stuck in that place where, sure, it's boring, but if you're just kind of stuck in your own bubble at that point. If you're not watching the pros, you're not watching what the very best and smartest players are doing, that I'm talking about me. This isn't me, lecturing the
Mhm.
audience. But, I'm going to remain what I am. And it's up to the game to make me better, meaning, oh, suddenly there's a new, I don't know, dragon level or balloon level, or there's a nerf to something on defense. That that's how I would look better or have a better hit rate if I'm not out there like really seeing what else is going on, seeing what other people are using, etc.
Peter?
I hate to do this, but I have to give you a golf analogy. The PGA guys, the pros, they play from a different set of tees than I play from, right? They play from the blacks, the tips, whatever you want to call them, the back tees, and I play a lot further forward. So they make the game harder for the pros. How can they make the game harder for the pros? What if they just took away super troops? Can you imagine trying to do a queen charge with no super
Oh
wall
my
breakers?
gosh.
That would be, now maybe that's not what they want, right? They want to showcase their game, and thus they want to give them all the tools to play
Mhm.
with, right? It's not marketing their game well if they don't get to do super archer blunt. Maybe we never would have discovered that if a pro hadn't have tried it
Very
first,
true.
right? It's my I rely on that now to get the town hall. I have struggles to keep any troops alive if I have to go straight at the town hall with my uh, E-Titans or Yetis or whatever. I can get it down, but then nothing lives and it's a low
Right.
percentage. So, maybe they could do something like that where they kind of like the recall spell. You have to use a recall spell in this event war, right? This world championship, you got to do a certain army comp, and then they could build the defense around that, right? Everybody's going to Lalo, so you build every skeleton's on air, every expo's
Mhm.
on air. Maybe they could just tweak the format a little bit so it's still the game, but make it harder for those pros to keep it competitive, right? You need a differentiator.
Yeah.
Or you could take away their hybrid clubs.
That's just cruel. That's just cruel.
Peter's about to just log off right now. He's like, I won't stand for this.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're right, Peter, in that. On the one hand, you say, wow, yeah, they could make the game so that the average player has an easier time of it, but then it's a different game. You're playing a different game than the pros are playing.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's something that they would ever do, because they want us to, and there's a lot of people that are currently playing in the average clan that maybe they want to move up, and they want to practice what the pros are doing and move up to being able to compete at the world kind of level. So I don't think you'd be doing any favors by quote unquote dumbing down the game for the average player.
I understand. Yeah.
But the nature of this
Yeah.
game, though, prevents new players from ever playing on that stage. There is no way to get to the worlds, which is always town hall, the max
Correct.
town hall. Like, there's just no way, like a new player, even a year
Yeah.
in, that you go over to Call of Duty, someone who's played a little bit of first person shooters or something, and suddenly they find themselves like, oh, I'm better at this than I thought. There's the barrier to entry for pro
Mhm.
level play, and in those games is minimal compared to Clash. So, but that's a problem that Supercell's got to sort
Yeah.
through, because it's not like there are a lot of people who can just wade in and be the next Klaus or the Rakirez,
Mhm.
etc. If a Klaus or Rakirez quits your game, it's not
Oof.
exactly next man up, right? Those
Right.
are superstars. Those are almost, I hate this word, but I'll say it. They're almost their own brands,
Mhm.
right? You know what you're going to get. You're excited to see them attack. And, there's just not this pipeline of new players stepping in as those guys slowly step aside.
Very true. I mean, these are
Yeah,
people
that's a
that,
great point.
and as we talked about, they put the time in at the various town hall levels and maximized their play time and really learned the skills necessary to be successful at the highest levels. So you're right. It's like not like somebody can just open up the Supercell shop and buy a max 15 or a mid-level 15 and say, I'm going to, finish farming this up and sign up for the worlds. Like that's not going to happen. Maybe the question is, should Supercell have a shop that offers various town hall levels that people could purchase for the right price?
That makes a lot of sense.
You've seen those Clash calculators. So what does it cost you in gems to get
Mm.
there? And That's somewhat insurmountable for most of us.
Would you pay $20 though for a Town Hall 9?
Oh, if I didn't have one,
Yeah, if you didn't have one.
and there was a need, like you say, hey, we're all gonna go in and do this. We're gonna create a Town Hall 9 clan. We're all gonna have Town Hall 9 accounts. Come on board. I'd be like, you know what? Yeah,
Mhm.
totally down. I would spend that money. I wouldn't do it just to have one, like almost like a pelt on the wall. Nah.
Yeah. But would you
Um,
spend $1,000 for a Max Town Hall 15 to be able to compete in Worlds?
Here's
That's
the
it.
thing.
For you and I, maybe not, but
Right. Who am I? Right?
yeah.
Me? Hell no. Am I a person who uh has the time to get really good and have already proven to be pretty darn good already? I don't think I don't think like Joe off the street could buy a Town Hall 15 and in a year, the chances of that guy being pro level within a year are still
Mhm.
minuscule. There's like you guys said, as you progress through those town halls, looking back, it's crazy how much you learn along the way.
Agreed. 100%. Yep.
Yeah, you can be like, you know what? Yeah, I'll spend that money, and I'll have 2 lessons a day, total of like 2 hours with pros. Plus, find a clan where you're challenged, right? Where you can actually
Mhm.
apply that. I just think you almost need like a full time exposure. Like you need like the 8 hours. It was it 10,000 hours of doing something. You're an
Yeah.
expert. Holy
Yeah.
crap! Like you'd think I would be good at Clash by now, but so I don't know what the barrier of entry is still
Yeah.
huge. Like I mean, first person shooters is first person shooters in a way, right? So sure, there are some neato weapons that like Unreal Tournament had that Quake 2 didn't have, for instance, right? But at the end of the day, if you're steady and have good aim and really can settle your brain,
Yes.
if you were great at Quake, it wasn't going to take much to make the leap. With Clash of Clans, oof,
There's nothing quite like it.
Yeah.
no, no, there's not. I mean, there's not really a first person shooter element to it. It's more like a real time strategy because it's all timing but one thing that does translate, like if you can keep your head when things are going poorly, you're just going to be a better gamer,
Mhm.
period. And,
hmm
and that's another skill I don't really have when it comes to this.
Yeah, for sure. I think overall it's just, we all play the game to have fun. And for some people, it's focusing more on the competitive side of things, and other players they just want to farm or hang out with their friends in game or on Discord. And it's like what I always say to anybody who talks to me about it is play the game the way you like so that you have fun with it. And that's really what it's all about.
Sounds good to me.
And you guys are a lot of fun to play with. And Magnus and Lolly and Kronk and Royd. I could go down the list forever and ever. Because, it almost doesn't matter what happens in game until if you miss an attack in our clan, then the knives come out.
Mhm.
Like, but they're understanding knives.
They're butter knives.
We're understanding until, yeah, they're butter knives. Well, that's even worse. That's dull.
Yeah, that hurts.
uh, Cat's getting stabby on us. So yeah, but like if someone fluffs an attack, we're usually like, no one's gonna bark at you, right? And
No, it's usually like, oh man, I feel for you.
yeah, exactly. I've been there.
So should we just briefly mention the fact that lolly appears to be a banned word in game?
We're gonna have to beep a lot of this segment, guys.
Every time someone says "nice hit, lolly" in game, it gets asterisked out.
We don't know who the kid
There
is in
is no kid
Redthorn,
in
but they need to
Redthorn.
leave.
It's a glitch in
They
their
need to leave.
server.
It has totally followed us from TGF Rising. So
Yeah.
But other words that are 4-letter words are not banned. But for some reason,
yeah.
her name in combination with other words always gets starred
So
out.
yeah, amongst our listener base, if anyone knows any ways, any dirty permutations or interpretations of the word lolly, send us a note.
Send that to Fado.
Maybe
Don't
that'll be
send
a
it to
top.
me.
Yeah, I
Sent to
might not
Cat.
want to see it.
Sent to Fado, care of
No.
Cat C/O. I mean,
All right, let's move on and talk about some fun stuff. Top 5 places that we would like to visit.
And now I'd just like to tell the listener this is because Kat has minus 40 Fahrenheit in
Celsius.
where she lives right now. So, yeah, in Celsius. So she is fondly thinking of warm places. So look for a trend here.
Is 40 below the point where
Yes.
both Celsius and Fahrenheit
They do
intersect?
cross over, yes.
Well, there we go. See, just say 40 below, and we're all
Exactly.
covered.
And it's
just
cold. Yes.
Fado, what's your number 5?
Well, I kind of have 6 now. Shoot. So my 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 honorable mention is whatever land thinks lolly is a dirty word. I want to be there. But it's more of a live than visit, so maybe it doesn't count. So visits. My number 5 is Good Airs or Buenos Aires, Argentina. To go that far down in South America. I have been to Sao Paulo, and that was a wild adventure. It wasn't much of an adventure, but it was just crazy being. I think it was the second foreign country I ever visited was Brazil, foreign to me in the United States. So I just think I would like to see Argentina as well. I can speak a little Spanish, although I'm sure Argentinian Spanish is vastly different than whatever gringo Spanish I learned as a high schooler in Texas.
Peter, what's your number 5?
I would like to visit Finland based on our last week's guests' descriptions. It sounds like a place I would like to visit.
Sounds like fun. My number 5 is Hawaii. Surprise, surprise.
Perfect.
You want to visit the United States, right?
Somewhere warm.
Okay.
Okay, Fado, what's your number 4?
Where is your mind at these days? Number 4, Old Trafford. Yes, the Theatre of Dreams in Manchester, Lancashire, England. I would love to go see Manchester United play, although I've heard the big party is when they're on the road and stirring up trouble elsewhere. But that's not my style. So can we go to Old Trafford and watch them pound on Liverpool?
Peter, number 4.
I would like to go to Peru, in particular Machu Picchu. I have family that is from there, have been there, shown us pictures. That would be very interesting. I understand Peru's in a bit of political, civil unrest, so I think that's going to be on hold for a little bit longer, but Peru.
Are you funding insurrections, Peter?
No, not at all.
Okay.
My number 4 is Trieste in Italy. My paternal grandmother was from there, and they came over to Canada many, many years ago, and I'd love to just wander around the same streets where she grew up. What's your number 3?
Number 3 is a place I've already been, but I desperately would love to return, is Greece. My wife's mother was born there, came here when she was about 2 or 3 years old, settled in Michigan. So my wife is, I don't know if you call her first generation born here in her family. And I just fell in love with the place. Fresh food.
Yeah, beautiful country.
Is just phenomenal, and you forget like how not fresh your own food is when you go to a place that even Caribbean, you name it. Wonderful. So I number 3 for me, definitely Greece, but that encompasses a lot of the country, not just like Santorini or Athens. I would want to go to the Peloponnese as well.
Peter,
my next one is going to make Kat shiver, but maybe Alaska or the Yukon or Northwest Territories here in Canada, pretty much anywhere north of 60 degrees north. I think that'd be very different.
Alaska's beautiful.
You're just trolling.
Yeah, I've been to Alaska. It's gorgeous up there.
Yeah, but I don't know about the golf there, Peter.
And it's kind of hard to. My number 3 is Japan. I would love to visit Asia.
Right.
And like into the big city or like out in the countryside, like Mount Fuji stuff or like Tokyo, 20 million people all riding the bus.
I'd like to sort of just briefly go to Tokyo just because I've never been in a city that large, that dense of a population. But really ideally, seeing the countryside because this, from the pictures I've seen, it's quite beautiful.
Very cool.
Fado, 2.
Number 2, I was caught a little off guard by Kat's first suggestion. I wanted to go to Croatia's Adriatic coast. I've seen pictures and it looks really beautiful, and there's a lot of historical buildings and such on the Adriatic Sea. And it's not terribly far from Trieste, so maybe we can wave at each other or something, Kat. But Croatia, give it to me.
Peter.
My next one is very specific. I would still love to hike into the Grand Canyon, overnight down there, and then hike back out. It was on our bucket list when Jen and I first got married, but we never really pulled it off. And the kids, just summers are busy, and so it's still something I would like to do.
I don't think you'd want to go into the Grand Canyon in the summertime, though.
Fair enough.
Yeah, no, I'm teasing you. I've been. Have you ever been to the Grand Canyon?
Never even made it.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's breathtaking. It really is stunning how beautiful it is. It takes your breath away.
I've seen pictures, but I don't think they captured the scope of it.
Yeah, for sure. My number 2, I would love to get a trip down to North Carolina one of these days. So many good friends down there that, I just love to make a trip down there. So maybe that's probably something that could be within reach. We'll see. Number 1, Fado.
Go back to Germany. I know I'm a little Europe centric here. That's 4 out of 5. My bad. I would like to be able to go between like Munich and through like the south and southwest of Germany. Like Ludwigshafen is where I don't know how many generations ago, but it's documented where my father's side came from there. It's right outside of Mannheim. And yeah, I would just like to see that. I've been to Munich before for a work trip, and it was really all work and no play. Like we barely even were outside. It kind of stunk.
Yeah, for sure.
This was about 10 years ago. But what I saw, I loved. I'd love to return and actually do it as a stupid tourist with the lanyard and the camera and all that.
Peter, number 1.
I would really like to visit in Northern Ireland, Royal County Down Golf Club. It looks like an amazing golf course. Jen has family in Ireland. I can put on my bucket list to try to get there and play that course. So.
I knew there had to be a golf course.
How convenient.
Does she have any family from near St. Andrews by any chance?
No,
Or
but
Augusta, Georgia.
Can
you
I'm sure we
invent
can
someone?
look into it. I held off. I only did one golf course, Kat.
I knew there had to be one somewhere.
I really tried. It was the first one I wrote down, mind you, but I thought of some other ones just to not make you crazy.
My number 1 is Australia. I always wanted to go there.
Okay.
And get killed.
I would stay out of the water.
Everything there to kill
that's
you.
one thing that Knob says, is that most Australians stay out of the water. so yeah.
But the spiders are on land.
Yeah, we don't talk about spiders.
Snakes.
We don't talk about
Like
snakes
snakes?
either.
Yeah.
Dingoes, they eat babies, according to Seinfeld, right?
Apparently.
That's right.
Okay, you guys are talking me out of it, but I'd still like to visit. So.
No, you still have to go
Exactly.
meet the people. Yes.
See, it's funny because the assignment, whenever I read these assignments for my top 5, it's okay. Make sure that you've got your own 5, and then make sure you can dump all over Cats and Peters just for cheap laughs.
It's working. It's
That's
working.
right.
All right, guys, let's jump into some shout outs. Fado?
So, the first one, I want to shout out the EHM crew. You know who you are. And then also the Rated. I noticed in there today that, just get busy filling some clan castles for an upcoming war. And the variety of people that just step up and fill clan castles there, make no mention of it. They don't make a big deal of it. That's impressive. For a clan like the Rated, for its mission and what it is, that's really freaking awesome. So to all the people there that are keeping the wheels on that bus going, I know that's like an Arrow, a Mike, Joel, thank you so much.
Awesome. Peter?
Mine's a little more generic this week. I want to shout out all the single moms and dads that just kind of make it work even when, things are happening. They have plans. They just make sure it happens for their kids or for somebody else. I got to witness a couple times this weekend, so I just want to say good job, guys. And just for my friend Ink, I'm going to say kudos to Craigers, and he'll know what that means.
Okay, secret code. My shout out is to all the people who showed up at Crystal Warrior without making me chase them. Thank you.
All 3 of you.
Yeah, there was quite a few, and then really, really made my job.
And the people who filled in.
And all the people who subbed. And, Darth Yoda and Cole and all those guys that brought extra accounts, Peter, Magnus, to help make the 40 for the people who didn't show up. And I'm not going to shade them out, but you know who you are. so thanks to everybody for that. And hopefully we have a really good time. And I want to shout out Carl for agreeing to stream.
Yes.
So that should be fun.
Good.
So
Good on you for holding the shade outs. We can't lose any
we don't
listeners.
have. I don't want to shade anybody else. So thank you everybody for listening. The CFF is a family of clans in games such as Clash of Clans, Clash Royale, and many of the other Supercell games. We love to provide content via podcasts and other media. You can visit the Clash Files Discord to apply to any of our clans or to support our pods and events. As always, please send us your comments, ideas, and questions on Twitter at RedthornCoc or join the Clash Files Discord at discord.gg/clashfiles.